Welcome to the show. My guests tonight, Connie and John.
Hi. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming on.
We're excited to be here.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourselves?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
yeah, of course. Go ahead, Connie. You can start. I'll finish.
Well, my name is Connie DeSousa, and I'm born and raised Calgarian. I'm a mom of 3, and I'm also a chef. And John and I have restaurants in Calgary and Saskatchewan. And we have 6 brands that are spread out over 4 brick and mortar.
Well,
Amazing.
Connie just essentially said everything other than I'm John. No, and yeah, I mean, we've been co-chefs and co-owners of the business, co-chefs since 1999. I like to say Connie was 11 years old, but she's now embraced her age, so we're all good with that.
I'm 43, I think. I was born in 81.
We always
I'm
forget.
really bad at math.
I handle all the financials with the business. I have my 2 daughters, Frances and Lucy, my wife Carrie, and Saskatchewan's our original home, but spent a lot of time in the United States cooking and working in New York and San Francisco, and but wanted to move back to Alberta because we lived here before we moved there and we loved it. And there was some great opportunity to build our businesses here and to grow our family. So we moved back over 15 years ago and opened up our first restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me, first of all, what all your restaurants are right now?
Sure. Yeah, we have Char Cut is our first restaurant and our original brand. We just opened our second Char Cut after 15 years in the University District. The first one is downtown, right across from the Calgary Tower in Le Germain Hotel. We have a Char Bar, which is Argentine wood fire inspired restaurant in the Simmons building in East Village. We have Chick's Egg Shop or Chick's Diner, which is a quirky, nostalgic breakfast and lunch spot inside the Alt Hotel in East Village. We have Connie and John Pizza. We have 3 locations in East Village and Marta Loop and in the University District, and that's our pizza concept. Really fun. We have the Rooftop Bar, Connie and John's Rooftop, which is newer branded for our only sit-down pizza spot on the Simmons building. It's on the roof, 160-seat rooftop patio, only open during the summer. It's great. Beautiful views. What else, Connie?
We have Alley Burger, our
Alley
burger brand that started actually out of our flagship in the back alley, which is located kind of in the middle of downtown. It's actually right across from the Calgary Tower there. And
Right there, yeah.
And we used to serve burgers out of the back door on random nights. We used to grind, we still grind all of our own meat in house, but we used to have this burger on the menu called the Share Burger that you could order by the ounce.
Some people would order like 100-ounce burger and had fried eggs.
Yeah.
So good.
And so at the end of the night, we'd have kind of like a surplus of leftover ground meat, and we grind it fresh every day. So we thought it'd be fun to make up some patties and make burgers and sell them with a pickle out of the back alley door. And that quickly took off, and we marketed it on Facebook. And at the time, there was no Instagram. So Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah.
And it quickly turned into this like crazy cult following phenomenon where we had people lining up around the building for these burgers.
Like 300 people.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And then we eventually turned it into a food truck. And we were one of the first 4 food trucks in the city. And we were part of a red tape program to bring food trucks back to Calgary because
cut through the red tape.
At the time there was like this weird law that the food trucks weren't allowed. And then we learned very quickly that it's very hard to operate a food truck in Calgary when you're covered in snow for 8 months out of the year.
It was awful.
Yeah. So,
I mean, there's a lot of good memories, but it's hard.
Yeah. So then the food truck just became kind of like a marketing thing for events. Tons of people wanted them for weddings and graduations, stuff like that. And then we ended up selling the food truck and turning it into a walk-up takeout window.
Oh.
Oh.
I've been waiting for that to happen for months.
Well, it happened. We saved it for our show.
I'm going to handle that later.
You know,
it's not in the shot.
Duct tape fixes everything. Just, you know. Duct tape will hold that for
Amazing.
life.
And then we ended up having to shut down the window because construction was happening next door to the building. And so we've now relocated Alley Burger to our diner. Chick's is closed at 3 p.m. every day. So the space kind of just sits empty. So we've created an Alley Burger pop-up in that space. Which was actually great timing because I just released a show called The Big Burger Battle on the Flavor Network. And with the launch of the new show, we launched our Alley Burger pop-up. So you can now get the burgers again at Chick's.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm. Did you feel like you didn't have enough on the go?
Well, you know, I mean, we get into, we love the brand and it brought Connie and I, you know, for the first few weeks, we were cooking online again, and it's just fun. We crave that, as chefs and as entrepreneurs. We like the excitement, the buzz, and it's fun.
I probably have a lot of questions on that.
Sure.
But first, how did you two meet?
Well, that's a fun story. Way back in 1999, probably before you were born.
Connie's talking a lot today.
You know what? If we can do whoever's holding the pen gets to talk or something like that.
No, I like it. It's very nice. I'm enjoying my coffee, and you know, it's like story time at bed. I'm just like, I heard.
Well, it is a late night show, so
that's great. Yeah, this story is good. I'm gonna just like interrupt and throw in my own little. Okay, let's do it.
So back in 1999, I had just graduated culinary school and was on the hunt for a job. So I applied at the Westin.
She was a strong C+ student.
And John was the chef of the premier fine dining restaurant there called the Owl's Nest. And I applied for an apprenticeship program there. And I got the job. So John hired me, and that's how we met.
And then Connie was so good as an apprentice. Like, she was doing circles around all the other apprentices. And she started competing, and she started winning.
Well, John, this is also a good story. John mentored me. Right off the hop, he was like my chef mentor throughout the first half of my career. But when I said that I wanted to start doing competitions, he's like, was so excited and was like, I'm going to train you for these. But he said to me for my very first competition, he's like, if you don't win this, we've put all this time into training, you don't have a job to come back to.
Yeah, true
so
story.
You better win this competition.
Yeah.
Tough love.
So it's worth my time.
You know, I'm not quite sure how accurate that is. I feel like that's what she heard. I've accepted it over the years because she tells that story. So I'm not quite sure that's how it came out. But you know what? It sounds pretty funny. So I kind of just let it go that way. And, you know, she won. So regardless, and it set her on this pathway of competing. And, you know, she went all the way to South Africa. She went to Germany in the Culinary World Olympics. So whatever, you won.
And I still had a job.
Yeah. So we worked together a long time. Then I ended up moving to New York, 2002. And Connie ended up going to Germany, and then I had the opportunity to open up the St. Regis Hotel and the restaurants in San Francisco. And Connie and I kept in touch the whole time.
Well, because I was his apprentice, he would call me up and make sure that like I wasn't screwing up my career in Germany, because we were pretty far apart at that point.
Yeah, and I definitely cared for sure, and I loved watching her excel, and it was an amazing to watch her go from this first year apprentice all the way to moving to a country that she's only been to once before and didn't speak the language. It was great. But I had the opportunity to open up in the new St. Regis 5-star hotel in San Francisco. And so I called her up and said, hey, do you want to, be the chef de cuisine and move to San Francisco?
And I was like, to live and work in San Francisco, that sounds like a chef's dream. Like that's the mecca of where a lot of our food is grown. And the opportunity to work with John again, my mentor.
Bullshit. Whatever. But it's good. We got to hang out, and it was a great opportunity to open up in San Francisco, really immerse ourselves in their food scene, which blew my mind. Yeah. Like the quality and like their commitment to the quality of the products that they use is unreal.
That was actually my first question.
Sure.
How your experiences abroad changed how you thought about food and what you wanted to bring back.
I mean, it's like you're going to school. It's like an accelerated education, right? Like as you're immersed in like these different cultures, and it's all around you, and you pick up on so many things. And not only the food, but just I think the education of like people and how you relate to people. And like New York and San Francisco are very different when it comes to like the culture and the feeling of that place. New York is very much about like respect, and like it feels like very family focused and like thick skin. But once you get past it, like on Father's Day, people that have never talked to me before in my life in my apartment building were saying Happy Father's Day and bringing a newspaper from the ground floor all the way up to my room. And like, there's just this different level of respect. And it is, anytime a family member passed away in the restaurant or the hotel, they would do like this big collection, and there would be this big wad of cash that they give the person, and sorry for it just that type of a feeling. But then San Francisco was very cause driven. It's like, it felt like, what do you believe in? What do you stand for? What is your, and there were two different cultures picking up on like how each one of them, it's different, because in Calgary, it's very new, and it didn't have that ingrained everywhere, and there it did. So that to me was an eye opener, getting to see places like that. And
I think it was also really eye-opening from like the farm to table perspective, because back then, like in the just like early 2000s, it was really common for chefs and restaurants to import a lot of different ingredients. Like you want the best cheeses and turbot and oysters from France. You want the best cured Italian meats from Italy. So a lot of like growing up in that kind of era was all about importing the best ingredients from around the world. But in San Francisco, it was like, no, let's eat what's in season, and we have access to all these amazing fruits and vegetables and cheeses and grass-fed meats, and let's like really take pride in that and pick them when they're ripe, instead of like picking them when they're green and waiting them to like ripen on a truck. Like it was really about embracing the seasonal ingredients. So
yeah,
that was a really cool experience.
New York was very technical sound, like in the culinary world, and very focused on that technique, and San Francisco was all about simplicity of ingredients and just, Alice Waters, Connie got to work with, and she's like one of the original pioneers of farm to table. And she puts a fig on a plate and, puts a little drizzle of something, a little first pressed olive oil, little, vinegar that's been homemade. And like, that's it. That's the dish, and it's like, coming in from a technique driven style training to that, you're like, but then you taste it and you're like, it's like the best fig you've ever tasted. It's like the perfect ripeness. It's like, it's not about just looking pretty. Although simplicity does, you need to see it, but it tastes more amazing than anything. It's about evolving that simple ingredient. And that's San Francisco. And that was that Bay Area style of food.
And the community too. The food community was so tight knit, and it was really cool to to go to a friend's restaurant if they were having an opening, and they'd invite all their friends and family, and you couldn't arrive without bringing something that you were proud of, or even like going out after your shift. Like we would always kind of like trade ingredients or trade dishes, and just like embracing that culinary community was really awesome. So that was one of the things that we wanted to bring back to Calgary as well.
Yeah, we love that side of it. We love the restaurant gang. It's a big gang, right? It's like we all look out for each other. And being able to like go to a restaurant and, you're a line cook or a sous chef and you go in and you're treated like a celeb. It's a pretty special feeling, right? Because we don't have that anywhere else. And that's something that we love. We love that, one of our cooks or somebody is going to eat at a restaurant and it's a friend of ours and we give them a heads up, and you know what I mean? It's just like, that's something that's pretty special with our industry. And, as soon as you see somebody that's in the industry, they're instantly VIP. Like where else do you have that? It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Did either of you have, or both of you, have kind of a dish or a moment or a service that you knew you wanted to do this for the rest of your life?
I think we had different stories with that. Like I learned how to cook out of like necessity. I grew up with a single parent, my mom raising 3 kids, leaving an abusive marriage, and she had to go back to university. She had to get a job, and there was not a lot of time. So the youngest, I was very young. I learned that that's how I could contribute. So I was like the cook. I like to cook wherever I could. And I feel like that I loved to contribute in that way. And I found myself more and more drawn to the kitchen and experimenting and, making people happy through the food that I was making. I just never saw it as a potential career until I got kicked out of school a couple times, and I was just not fitting in. And then I saw that being a chef could actually be a career, and I ended up getting into kitchens when I was 14, just about to turn 15, and then I guess I've never really looked back.
What was your first job like?
It sucked. I mean, it was hard because I had a real problem with authority figures when I was a kid, and not in a sense of people telling me something that was right. It was people telling me something that was wrong, and I had to do something that I didn't really get or understand or believe in. And I felt like I was being forced to do things. And like in school, and, I didn't have the best teachers. I had an amazing grade 1 teacher and an amazing grade 8 teacher. and I excelled in grade 8 farther than any other year. But, I feel like, that's it. Like, got me.
And what about for you?
So really different. My
Connie's is very romantic.
yeah, it is a very romantic story. When growing up, I had a Irish Canadian mom, and my dad is Portuguese Canadian. So he immigrated to Canada when he was really young. They both are from Toronto. But they both love to cook. My dad would often make like heritage family recipes. He wasn't really adventurous in the sense where he would like veer away from his culture. So quite a lot of Portuguese dishes growing up. And then my mom was really adventurous with food. She loved food. She loved experimenting. We would watch like kind of the old school cooking shows on TV. I think even before there was a Food Network, like Yan Can Cook and what was it, like the Traveling Gourmet and some peasant cook. I forget his name, but anyway,
Peasant Gourmet.
Peasant Gourmet, yeah.
I know them all.
So we would get inspired by what we were watching on TV, and then she'd be like, "Okay, let's go try and make this in the kitchen." And so I was cooking from really young. And I was really fortunate to have like the most amazing meals. My mom would quite often cook like 3-course meals. We'd always have a super salad, an entree, dessert. And I really loved to get in there and cook with her. I also didn't excel academically in school, but I really knew that I wanted to make this a career when I got to high school in grade 10. I went to school in Calgary, Bishop Grandin, and they offered a program called Foods, which was kind of like home ec, but no sewing. So it was only cooking. And we made really simple recipes. We learned a lot about the Canadian Food Guide and menu development and things like that. But once I hit grade 12, I was like, this is it. I want to do this. So I think at the time you could kind of pre-enroll in SAIT. And I got accepted when I was still in high school. And so I finished, I got my diploma, but I went right into culinary school. And at the time it was only a 1-year program, the PCK professional cooking.
Yeah, straight through, right? 3 semesters.
Straight through, no break. And then you were meant to do your apprenticeship after, which I think you had to accrue 3,000 hours. So, but yeah, I loved it.
Two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
You see both those stories similar to that in media. What do you think when you watch TV or movies about working in a kitchen? Do you think they're accurate ever? Is there anything accurate?
Some of them are.
I mean, there's pieces and elements, but it all depends on your experience. Mm-hmm. Because I mean, you can't say every kitchen's the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like there are definitely things that may be the same, but not every kitchen has the same culture.
Mm-hmm.
We fortunately grew up in a lot of kitchens with a really positive mentorship focused culture. Ours doesn't have a lot of darkness to it. So
you do see that a lot in media.
Yeah. I mean, the industry, when it comes to coming from like abuse, alcohol, drugs, overworking, and not taking care of yourself physically and mentally, that is an industry that we do know. But and that's something that we've worked at really, really hard for ourselves and for our teams to flip that shit on its head.
Mm-hmm.
What made you want to bring everything you learned back to Calgary, a place that's not really known as much for the food, and make it a place like that?
Well, I mean, it was Connie's home. We lived here for my wife and I a long time, and we wanted to be in a place that we were surrounded by our family, our friends, an amazing network, and wanted a place that we could grow our family as well as our business. Mm-hmm. And Calgary fit. I mean, it is been traveling all over, and I tell you, there's nothing more special than where we live. I love it. I love every part of it. Calgary, the proximity to the mountains, it's just a really special place in Canada. So I'm very happy we ended up deciding that this was going to be the place we were going to do it.
And Calgary's a really young city in the sense that they didn't have a really strong culinary tourism at the time. And this was like 15 years ago. So that was one of the things that really drew us to Calgary as well, was like we could really make our mark in a city that has a young culinary culture. And it gave us an opportunity, along with other restaurateurs and chefs, to really showcase how cool Calgary is and the surrounding area, and a chance to build the culinary community as a culinary destination in Canada collectively with the other restaurateurs. So that was exciting for us as well.
Yeah, being a part of that was pretty cool, right? Mm-hmm. Like, being a part of the change and, evolving that culinary culture to where it was and to where it is. I think that is much more gratifying to be a part of that process, and seeing and looking back, and it's pretty great.
Yeah. Was Charcut your first business?
Charcut is number one. Yeah.
So your first one was successful. Very successful.
Well, I mean, yes. We are very fortunate. We worked like our lives depended on it, physically and mentally. And
it almost killed us, actually.
It definitely almost killed us.
Yeah. What were your initial challenges going from just like working in a kitchen to being
we all had amazing jobs that paid great. We had a lot of job security. And we left it all, and we put everything on the line. We owned nothing, and we put it all out there. And it was, if you don't make this work, you're fucked. And we made sure it would work, and we put everything into it. All of our love, our passion, all of the intellect that we do have. Thank goodness, Connie and I together make one chef, like 50-50. Yeah. Carrie has like a good brain on her, helps us, guide us. Without the three of us, I don't know if it would have been successful. Like, we really contributed in each way. Yeah.
Yeah. We have so many stories that we could tell you about, being malnourished, and
Connie was like passing out on the line,
working around the clock. Yeah. We actually lived in the hotel in unfinished rooms while we were opening the restaurant, because the restaurant opened before the hotel did.
Yeah.
And Charcut is so much, a lot of people don't know this, because a lot of hotel restaurants don't necessarily have the best rap and vibe. So that was something that was really important to us in the beginning, was to really be able to stand on our own. We weren't the restaurant in Hotel Le Germain. We were Charcut. And most of the people that came to visit us had no idea that we were even in a hotel.
I didn't until you just said that.
Yeah.
I've been there.
And that's perfect, because that was the branding.
Yeah, that was really important to us in the beginning. And in addition to having the restaurant, we also have a separate contract to provide all the food and beverage for the hotel. So room service, lounge, we cater to the office tower that's above. We cater to the residents that live there, because it's a mixed-use building. We cater to all the meeting space that's there. So it's so much more than just the restaurant. At the time, they were offering complimentary breakfast to all their guests. So we would have to serve breakfast at
people every single day.
Oh yeah. We would serve breakfast at 6 a.m., but the restaurant wouldn't close until 1 a.m. We served full menu until 1 a.m. at that time.
We were at minimal 18 hours a day.
Yeah.
And we didn't have a day off for over a year.
It was nuts. Yeah.
So it was hard. But yeah, I mean, I feel like if you put that much into it, anyone can create something successful. And,
Yeah.
you know, we were very fortunate. It was, you know, majority hard work and passion, but there was a little bit of luck involved, and timing worked in our favor. And, you know, it's not everything has been a huge success in our lives, but fortunately some of the big things have, and it keeps us coming back to open more. So,
How do you know when a concept you have is something you want to pursue?
A lot of back and forth. Yeah. And that's the cool thing about having business partners. And our partnership is so unique as well. Like, we're like family now. Like, we've known each other for so many years.
yeah, we're also workout buddies.
Yeah. But having someone like a sounding board that you can bounce ideas back and forth of, it's so much better. I can't imagine being an entrepreneur and not having a business partner.
It would suck, man.
Did any of the ideas one of you didn't want to do and the other person fought for it?
Well, all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, but that having that back and forth really helps us, you know, narrow in to the one, right? Like, I mean, it's like brainstorming, right? You got to start somewhere, and that somewhere is going to get you to that place, and you just need to keep on, you know, picking away. Why is it not? It's almost, but it's not. But when we know, we both go, that's it. Like, and when we're not, like, you know, it's still good, but it's just like, it's not there. So we both need to go, that's it.
Yeah. And the R&D of developing a concept is so fun. And especially once you've nailed it, and then you get to like do a lot of research on top of that. That's like where the travel comes in, and eating out, and like just taking ideas from different things that you see while you're traveling and eating out. It's fun.
Yeah. And that's where, like, my ADHD brain really has an enjoyable time, because I go down that rabbit hole and I just go so deep. So deep. Yeah.
How do you keep your creativity and not spread yourself thin opening so many restaurants?
I think we learned from the first one that, you know, you need to be able to take a step back. You can't just have your head down and grind every day. You need to take a step back, you know, say you're on the line and look up and look at all these happy people eating your food, and take a deep breath. There needs to be more of those moments. And by that, I mean, it's not about the quantity of time. It's about figuring out where you provide that impact, where you and what you're the contributor, what you bring to the table, and focusing on the quality and not necessarily the quantity, where we grew up where you were judged on the amount of time you put in, right? That was, you know, you were first in and you're last to leave. You had all the respect, right? And that's not, as an owner and as an entrepreneur and as the creative leaders of that, you need to be able to be there when it makes the most impact. So we learned that, you know, it's there's an exchange when it comes to that, and that's where, like, health and fitness and all those other things come in. You know, to be able to be healthy and fit mentally and physically, you're way more impactful for those periods when the business needs you.
And I mean, we're nothing without our team as well. Like, we learned that very quickly to opening Char Bar 5 years after we opened Char Cut, that we can't spread ourselves too thin, and we can't be in more than one place at once. So we really needed to develop a great team, and a lot of our the mentorship that we talk about in our company stems from that. So when we opened Char Bar, I had just come back from maternity leave. And I came back, I only took about 3 months off. But when I left for maternity leave, because John and I can never work by ourselves,
we're kind of, I mean, we're just not that great.
We're
good together. We are amazing. Chef apart, we're just like pretty average.
We had one of our cooks step up into that role to basically cover for me as John's co-chef. And so
she was amazing.
Her name is Jessica. And when I came back, I resumed my role. So she'd kind of reached the top. And, we spent all this time mentoring and developing our cooks. It's heartbreaking if they leave. And so we're like, well, let's just open another restaurant so that.
I mean, we had one in the works for sure. Like Char Bar was in the works for some time, and the timing worked out amazing that there was somebody that we felt could take on that role, and she became the chef and a partner in the business. And, that's how we look at our business for sure, is being able to have these amazing people working for us at that level to be able to grow and for them to be able to have the opportunity to. That's helped us.
Ask how you keep people in an industry with such high turnover. How you keep people like that. I guess giving them a restaurant is.
I think. Well, I didn't give her a restaurant. I mean, she ended up being a partner, and had equity in it.
Yeah.
So vested interest is great. Our key leadership that has been with us have grown with us. They started at junior levels, and every opportunity that we could give them, we gave them, and they deserved it. They worked their butts off. They get to a level where, the next obvious thing is to try. And even if we didn't have the level, we just made it up. Like, because we grew to when we first opened Charcut, we had no sous chefs. We had 2 chef de cuisines, and then we ended up growing, and then we have 2 sous chefs, and then we have the chef, and then we have, so like, as we've grown, the opportunities grow. And that's how we've kept our, that key leadership going, is because the opportunity's there. And I think it's a fun place to work. And
the culture, we talked a little bit about the culture, but I think that's one thing that's really attractive about our company, is that we are creating a platform for young culinarians to grow in. We're creating a community of like-minded people that it's a really safe environment. And we, at one point, we used to say, don't drink the water at Charcut because you might get pregnant. And we promote family and that type of lifestyle in our kitchens as well. So I would say a good chunk, like at least probably 30% of our key staff members do have families, and we allow for that in our company, a culture to be able to raise a family. And unfortunately, in this industry, it's not, you don't see that very often. It's a really hard business to be able to do that in. And
being honest, like, I think it's important that everyone knows that, yes, there's times that are going to suck. Like, there's going to be incredibly challenging moments. Like, opening a restaurant is not easy, and you're going to work harder and you're going to work longer, but it's not that way forever. And you need to be able to be upfront about what that expectation is too, right? Like, not just go into it and they end up working 7 days a week forever. If they're working that hard, it's about, okay, now what tools do you need so you're not working a 6-day? What tools do you need that you're not working a 12-hour shift, right? But there are those moments where it is, right? So it's definitely, I think, honesty about what the expectation is, and having that conversation and that dialogue is a really critical part too.
And we're in our restaurants doing it as well. So we're not the type of entrepreneurs and restaurant owners that are like sitting in offices barking orders at people. We're in there. We're grinding along with them. So I think that's another reason that that people put their trust in us and have stuck around for as long as they have.
I'm going to take a quick break.
Sounds good.
But actually, before we go, what's your hat? Can you tell me about your hat?
Well, that's like a 15-minute conversation.
We'll talk about it when we get back.
I'd love to tell you though.
Okay, we'll be back. Hey everyone. If you're not subscribed, hit the button. Share it with your friends, like it, comment, you know the drill. And happy Stampede. I'm doing an Instagram video series. Go check it out. Stay tuned for more deets. Okay, and we're back. Okay, so you've been through a couple big things with the floods and COVID.
Yeah, awful.
I want to talk about those things
Oh, great.
in order, in chronological
Well,
order.
the flood was rough because Connie and I were away, and
You're
I
in Toronto.
just had a brand new baby, and I lived in the Mission, which was one of the areas that was totally fucked.
Yeah.
And fortunately, the restaurant, like all the power was out, but the flood never hit it, but everything went spoiled. Like there was no backup for everything. We had to close for a couple weeks, and
Over 10 grand of product in our fridge alone spoiled.
yeah. And we had to be evacuated from our house, my wife and my brand new baby, and it was really challenging for them and us being away, and we couldn't get into town till the next day. So it was hard, but fortunately, we had business interruption insurance and flood insurance, and it covered everything from staff being off to the food, and we were made whole. So it was hard for we busted out the alley burger truck, and we were driving around, giving out free burgers the entire time. We did what we could do, but it was nowhere near the pandemic. The pandemic was just gross.
Unfortunately for us as well, we were negotiating our lease terms for Char Bar, which is in the Simmons building, which is right next to the Bow River. And
During the flood.
And if that hadn't happened, like we say, timing
We
is
almost
everything.
signed it, yeah.
Yeah. We wouldn't have been able to negotiate into our lease all the flood mitigation for the building.
Yeah.
So it was almost a blessing in disguise.
Meant to be, I guess.
Yeah, it helped for sure.
And then the pizza place, came out of COVID?
That came out of COVID, yeah.
Yeah.
It was like out of, we were working on a concept for quite some time. It was actually going to be in the University District where it is now, but a lot earlier. Everything got delayed with the Char Cut and Connie and John Pizza in University. So we just accelerated the Connie and John pizza concept because we needed to find a way to open up the building, the Simmons again, because it was closed and all the businesses were closed. We had no takeout. We had no way of bringing back any of our staff or creating any type of revenue. And it saved that building for sure.
So we sold pizza by the slice out of the walk-up takeout window that used to be home to Alley Burger. And we were out there like with spray paint, spraying
Spraying
circles like
Never
2 meters
again.
away from each other.
Never again. I'm not gonna be fooled. Never again. No.
But it was great. No, we kicked it off as Pizza by the Slice. We did that probably like 5 or 6 times, and then that's when the demand happened, and we were like, we could actually make this a viable business. And so that was when it evolved into whole pizzas. And we wanted to do a traditional New York style and a traditional Detroit style.
So good.
And we launched it out of the Simmons building. And then during the pandemic as well, we found a second location in Marda Loop, which was perfect because it was in a grocery store. and grocery stores were considered essential services, so they couldn't shut us down.
Yeah, that's what we
And-
were looking for.
Yeah.
Nice.
And the grocery store has a deli counter with a commercial kitchen in it,
Blush Lane in Marteloup.
full production.
Yeah.
And so we basically lease a portion of their kitchen. We popped a pizza oven in there.
It's an amazing partnership. Super
Yeah.
good.
How did you even get that idea? That's kind of
Well, when you face the pressure, the good thing about us is we can come up with solutions pretty quick, and that's what we had to do. We had to.
really good.
I
idea.
mean,
Yeah.
our businesses depended on it. Our staff depended on it. Like we held a lot of people's lives in our hands when it came to like that's their source of income, and we need to figure out ways of getting these people back.
I had a listener question. Is it true that you made the cooks count exactly 100 pepperonis on every pizza?
Yes, it is. It is correct. We did that until it became stupid. And then we weighed out exactly what that weight was, and that's now what we do. It is by weight.
Yeah. And
yes.
the pepperoni thing has evolved as well, because
Yeah,
the
now we
reason
make it.
for the 100 pepperoni was because we wanted Calgary's like most pepperoni on a pizza. And because you order a pepperoni pizza and sometimes there's like 8 pieces of pepperoni on it. And we just wanted
Like a lot of places out there right now.
yeah, we're the meat chefs. We wanted it to be full of pepperoni. So, but even that's evolved. And that's actually, we used to use Ezzo.
Which is amazing.
Amazing pepperoni. But we also, with the amount of pepperoni that we were putting on our pizza, sometimes we'd get salt complaints. Oh, it's too salty. So that even evolved into us making our own pepperoni.
Yep. Now we make all our own pepperoni.
Yeah.
Well, along with Josh. He is the king of the pepperoni right now.
He
Question
is.
might have been from him. So you're both leaders. Let's
Sure.
say in
Yeah.
the kitchen and in the community.
Try
Do you like that?
my best.
What does good leadership look like to you?
Good leadership. I think, you need to believe in what you're leading, and you need to be doing what you're saying you're leading to. So I think people look to that, and you can't fake it. And I think that makes a really good leader.
Boots on the ground.
Yeah.
And I think to touch on that too, and we've kind of talked about it before, is to practice what you preach. And we do. Like we're in our restaurants daily. We're working out daily. We experience, we talk about our mental health daily. And I think that's really important, not to just talk about it, but to do it and to show people that you're doing it.
And we're not perfect, and we're open about that. I'm far from perfect. I'm very flawed, and I think people like to be able to relate to that too.
Is there something you've learned in leadership the hard way that made you teach differently?
Yes.
This is a great story.
Yeah, Connie already knows. See, the thing is, like, by co-chefs, I'm in her head, she's in my head. There's nothing that I think that she doesn't already know what I'm going to say. So being co-chefs, what the fuck is a co-chef? You know what I mean? Like, there's 2 co-chefs. What do you mean? You only need 1 chef. Well, for us, you need 2. And because Connie started as, apprentice and worked our way up, I was always the chef, right? And becoming co-chefs, I was committed to us being equal when it came to everything. And so was she. But when we first opened Charcut, 15 years ago, and we're like getting ready to open the doors to the public, and all the cooks are prepping, there's one cook over in the corner prepping artichokes, and I saw the way he was prepping it, and I wasn't really in agreement with how he was prepping it, and I made sure he knew. And in a very nice, tactful way, I said, what are you doing, man? Like, do you want me to show you how to clean an artichoke properly? So, and I show him how I would do it. And, I feel Connie staring at me. I feel her eyes like just burning in my head. I'm like, whoa.
It's funny now, but at the time there was a lot of negative energy.
It was like, seriously, you could feel it everywhere. Like if there would have been a plant there, it would have just shriveled up and died. Like it was like, yeah, it was powerful. And anyways, then Connie pulled me into like this pantry area right off the line. And it's just like one of your curtains. It's not a soundproof room, but regardless, she let me know that they're never going to respect me. I showed them how to clean it that way. And you just like humiliated me, and they're not going to respect anything I say if you tell them that's not the right way. And she was right. She was absolutely right. And from that moment on, I knew that we had to do things differently in front of our staff, and we need to be united, and we needed to be that one voice when it came to that. And so we have this agreement that anytime we see somebody doing something that we don't agree with being the right way, we first say, who showed you how to do it that way? And if it's and if somebody says, "Oh, John showed me," and Connie's asking, it's like, it's perfect. And then she'll, we'll go behind the curtain. She'll say, "I don't know what you're showing them, but it's kind of fucked up." You know what I mean? So we have that. So that was a big learning experience.
Huge, yeah. And that rule also applies to our chefs in our restaurants now too. Like we can't walk. It's been detrimental for us to walk onto our kitchen lines, and tell the chefs, the cooks, that they're doing something wrong when their chef just showed them how to do it.
So we're careful. I mean, again, we're not perfect, and but we recognized it. So at least if we do make the error, it's just not a constant one. I'm sure it happens on occasion. I can't help it sometimes.
Well, now we have a corporate chef, Brody, who has also worked with us for many, many years, started at our flagship. And we have learned that if we want to make any changes on our menus after a menu has launched, it has to go through Brody, because otherwise there's too many chefs in a kitchen, too many people telling people what to do.
And it's still, and it is an absolutely learning process. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
Like we're getting it. But like you know that there's a lot of people that work with us since the beginning. So having these added layers of structure and organization, they take time for everyone to get used to. So, we're getting better and working smarter every day, and everyone's kind of getting used to that process.
When you think about the next generation of chefs, what is something you hope they keep from the last generation, and what's something you hope they scrap?
I would say keeping your dedication and pushing yourself, and always remembering while you're there, be as perfect as you can. You see something on the ground, a dirty napkin, pick it up. Don't walk past it. Because the one time that you walk past it is the time that your leader, your mentor, will see you walk past it, and opportunities will not be there. So while you're at work, give it your all, put your heart in it. Make sure you're working extremely hard, because it will get noticed and it will get recognized. But again, quality over quantity is most important. And I think Connie touched on the other one that she's already in my head, and I already know what she's going to say.
I mean, for me, it's definitely work ethic. But when we talk about that, we've already discussed it. There's a time and a place. You don't have to work an 18-hour shift every single day, but some days you are going to have to grind. and you can't walk into work and it's not always going to be a 9 to 5 shift. It's not always going to be an 8-hour shift. And I think that mentality has changed over the years, where you don't necessarily need to be there for like 14 to 16 hours, but some days you are going to have to grind. So I think just appreciating that and accepting that, and allowing yourself to leave when you don't have to be there.
Yeah, that's a big one. And, finding physical and mental health activities outside of work and building them into your routine is something I hope moving forward every chef and every person puts as a priority, because you will be better and more engaged at what you do in everything in life.
You have a fund, don't you?
Yes.
A fund? Can we talk about that? I almost skipped over that, but that's
it's a very important part. I think like when we opened Charcut University District, it was like, what are we doing, in the big grand scheme of things, like a legacy? What do we, we've built an amazing group. We're mentoring people, but what's this lasting legacy piece that we want to grow and continue forever? So we ended up creating the Char Hospitality Fund administered through the Calgary Foundation. And we are raising money to important charities personally to us. And the focus on the charities are mental health focused and food insecurity. So those are our two big buckets that we are continuously raising money for. And, we see it as being a forever fund and foundation.
How can people get involved with that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. You can purchase some of our products, our branded products. So we have our own line of beers, Connie and John's. John has his beer because he doesn't drink, and his is
We were talking about that on break.
Yeah.
I heard it was great.
And
It's
then
very good.
I have my beer, and they're fun. They're showcased by different breweries around the city, and we're not married to just one brewery. So we usually latch onto a brewery for about 6 to 8 months, and then we'll have another person can it for us.
But right now we're loving Village, and they've been doing it for over a year, and we're going to continue that partnership because they're just been so versatile, and they're crushing it when it comes to the quality of the products. Yeah.
So a portion of sales from our beer goes to the fund. Sometimes we do collaborative dinners with other chefs, and a portion of those sales go to the fund.
And you can go to the Calgary Foundation and just look up Char Hospitality Fund, and people can donate, knowing that it's going to go to our community, and it's going to be focused on those areas that are important to us, that have touched us very personally. We're looking at making some big impacts beyond the kitchen.
Thanks for doing that. Can you tell me about nose to tail cooking? What that is? When I look you up, that comes up flashing all over the screen.
I mean, we love it because we love to for people's reaction when they're eating a pig head mortadella, but it's also respect, like you're utilizing the entire animal.
Nose to tail, like John said, it's about respecting where our food comes from. And once we receive the food, respecting that food. For years in Alberta, I think the only steak that was on a menu was a tenderloin, and and
strip loin.
Yeah, there's only a couple of them on a cow. So we like to use the whole animal, and sometimes, and actually usually, the best cuts are the ones that are hiding in muscles that people don't know about, and we call those the secret butcher cuts. They're the most flavorful.
Do you have a dish that you'll never take off the menu, even if it makes $0?
Yes.
Okay. What is it?
Well, I don't say it makes $0, but our pig head mortadella,
whole pig now.
Yeah, it's whole pig mortadella now. We'll never take that off the menu, and we'll never take our prime rib off the menu. And sometimes it's a bit of a loss because it's, with the beef prices, and it's a tough one. We'll never take it off because we love it.
Tell me about your hat so we don't run out of time.
Yeah, I mean, my hat is from a ride that I just did in Bend, Oregon. It's called No Kid Hungry. It's a big 2-day cycling race and ride, and it's the 10th year anniversary of this charity. It raises money for feeding school children, and I've been a part of it since almost the beginning. So it was a 10th year anniversary this year, so it was really big. So I decided that I was going to do something big for it. So I rode my bike from Kananaskis, Alberta, to Bend, Oregon, and spent 9 days just riding, around between 160 and 200 kilometers each day. And I got there, and then I did the 2-day race. It was amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
You did the race after the 9-day bike?
Yeah. 160 kilometers each day for the race. And
you were warmed up. How did you feel during the race?
I felt great. I felt good. I kept it, I wasn't pushing, during my 9 days riding there, I wasn't pushing it past, zone 3. And even though I got headwinds for most of the days, I just kept it going. And, I went to some moments was pretty dark and lonely. But overall, it was an amazing experience. I'm glad I did it. Pushed me to do something really hard. I think it's good for my kids to see that. I think it's great for me. It was good for me mentally to be able to, deal with myself and, being alone that long. And overall, I think, create a lot of awareness with mental health and also food insecurity. So I think those are the two things that we try and promote.
That's pretty intense. Have you done things like that before?
I've done a lot of long rides. I've done some hard cycling rides for sure. I've done a Gravel Worlds one that was 500 kilometers gravel race that was like nonstop. So it was 24-hour race. Like you just keep going.
Wow.
That was hard.
Yeah, I bet.
But I did it, made it. There was like almost like a third of the people didn't make it. They got heat stroke. It was in Nebraska. It was at 37 degrees. People are dropping like flies. So I made that one. Felt pretty good. Yeah.
Good work.
Try to do tough things.
So you two have a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We do. Connie and John. Yeah. Connie and John chilling with chefs.
How's that been going?
It's great. We've taped like 8 or 9 of them, and we released our second one. Our third one's coming out next week.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of fun. We do it in a sauna. So we felt like sauna people really open up.
They do. It's crazy. It's a really
much more
safe
emotional.
space.
Yeah.
And I think they just get to this point of like almost heat exhaustion that they just feel.
We just force it out of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you find that out by you two being in a sauna and chatting and felt open up? Or?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, we found that, we had so many great conversations together and with friends in the sauna. Like for like, we're like, this is the place that we should be doing a podcast. Mm-hmm. Like this is where good conversations
and
are
then
happening.
You do a speed run, quick
fire in the ice hole.
Yeah.
So the ice hole, because I live on a lake, we cut out a hole in the ice all year long, and we just hang out in the ice hole, and chilling with chefs.
And I would say 100% of our guests are terrified of the ice hole, but they actually find the sauna to be harder than the ice hole.
Like it hot. Yeah. It's really hot. It's like authentic Nordic style. Like nice. It's hot. It's like 180 to 200.
And they're just like trying to answer to get out of there?
No. I mean, a couple of them need breathers. It's fine. Yeah. It's like you do it at your own comfort level for sure. We don't want people to be too uncomfortable. For sure, it is a bit uncomfortable being in sauna. But, it's just a great place for having that dialogue and opening up and just letting it out.
And then because we're chefs, we always wrap the show with some kind of food component, and while we're breaking bread, we talk more, and it's great.
Yeah, like eating like deer hot dogs that we made from hunting our deer last season. It was good. It was
Nice.
Everything has a story.
Where can people find it?
We have it. It's on YouTube as podcast. You can also find us on Connie and John's show on Instagram and on where else are we on?
TikTok.
So yeah, it's great. We're loving it, and we're gonna keep doing it until we don't.
I have a lightning round for you. Pretend
Sure.
you're in a ice hole.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm very, just so you know, in ISO, I'm very comfortable and I'm not looking to get out.
It's just 10 questions.
Sure.
They might be quick. Okay. First thing you ever learned to cook well.
First thing I ever learned to cook well was probably pizza.
Okay.
Started at 9.
What about for you?
Oh my goodness, what a hard question. I probably would say soup. Yeah, it's
Well,
something
in
that I
foods.
learned. Yeah, really
Yeah,
young.
your lemon chicken one. What's that one called?
Canja. Yeah, Portuguese.
Last time you truly messed up a dish.
Go ahead, Connie.
Okay, my
She's got
daughter just turned 11 and she doesn't like birthday cake. So her request was lava cake. And I haven't made a lava cake since the 90s when they were popular.
Yeah. Yeah, they're on every menu.
My oven at home has been on the fritz, and
Excuses.
as per usual in the kitchen, we're always multitasking. And I was whipping cream while the lava cakes were in the oven, and they're only supposed to be in the oven for like a maximum of 6 minutes. My oven timer, something happened. I should have had a backup timer, but I ended up overcooking the lava cake, so it wasn't lava; it was just cake. But they were still delicious, and I'm reattempting it tomorrow with her school friends. But she asked for her birthday octopus and crab.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah.
For a kid to ask for that.
No, one of my children would be asking for butter noodles, just so you know. I'm trying.
A smell that takes you back to your childhood kitchen or a young memory of cooking.
Oregano, for sure. My mom, again, working with what we had, I remember this one dish. We had a huge garden, and she would just, everything from our giant zucchinis, and then, she would make this. She said it was like a pizza casserole, but there was nothing. But she put oregano in it, and then she said that's what the pizza flavor was. So it was chopped tomatoes and zucchini and eggplant and onion, and yeah, it was not my favorite dish, but it had a lot of dry oregano. So I remember that very pronounced.
How do you feel about oregano now?
I love it. Yeah, I love it. Reminds me of my mom.
Most overrated ingredient.
Oh my goodness. Black garlic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't really like it.
Not
it's
my
kind of
favorite.
weird.
Yeah.
Tastes like balsamic vinegar, which
Yeah,
is also
not
not
sure.
my favorite ingredient.
Yeah.
Most underrated ingredient.
Underrated
Salt.
butter.
Oh, salt and butter.
Put lots of that shit on everything. Come on, guys. Just
It
loosen
makes
up.
it taste better.
It makes it taste better. It's good for you. You need salt to live, man.
Yeah.
Weirdest food combo you secretly love.
Oh. That's going to be an interesting one, eh? Weirdest.
Weirdest. Oh my goodness. I don't know.
I mean, bringing back to my poor childhood memories is I love hot dogs and macaroni and cheese. I'm just saying, like cut up little hot dog. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, I love it. That's the combo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Vinegar on poutine.
Everything.
Growing up, where this comes from, I used to, pot roast was one of our like family staples. And I loved pot roast because I knew the next day we could have hot roast beef sandwiches.
Nice.
And I just love acidic things. And so I would douse, sometimes I wouldn't even have the beef. I just have the bread, like white bread, sliced white bread with gravy on top and a ton of vinegar because I just love vinegar.
Restaurant pet peeve.
Restaurant pet peeve. Not enough salt and butter.
There you go.
You're like, seriously, worst.
Dream food city you haven't eaten in yet.
Probably Mexico City. I have not been. And I've it's everyone that goes, every time they go, they post all these pictures, all these amazing restaurants. And I've never been, and I just, kind of FOMO.
For me, there's so many. I'd love to visit Morocco. Love to visit Vietnam. I actually haven't toured any Asian country. My kids are begging me to go to Japan.
I want to go to Japan.
Yeah.
One tool in your kitchen you'd never give up.
Connie.
John.
Okay.
Connie's a pretty good tool.
One tool from home kitchens that are totally unnecessary.
Home kitchen, totally unnecessary. That's a hard one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like one that's like buried in one of my drawers somewhere that I don't use.
I don't know. Maybe a cherry pitter.
I love cherry pitters. What are you talking about, man? It's critical. I mean, you just don't use it very much.
Oh, I know. The zester, the old school zester.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say melon ballers, but I kind of like them. I want to bring melon ballers back. Like all the shapes, like the oval one, the little mini one. Yeah, those zesters suck because once you got the rasp or the microplane, those kind of just went to the wayside.
We only have a couple minutes, so I'm going to throw these questions away. Mm-hmm. What do you want for the Calgary food scene in 20 years?
Fuck, 20 years, man. That's like way
10 years,
far.
10 years.
Like
pick an amount.
10 years?
You're the expert.
I love how collaborative our chefs and our restaurants are. Mm-hmm. I like that to continue and to evolve. I think, that's how we've put our city on the map in a global scene. We are pushing that. Like there's no other city that collaborates like Calgary. And I think that gets us recognized. That tells a way more interesting story. So I'd love to see that progress and continue and for it never to deteriorate or to fall apart. So I like to see it continue for over the next 10 years. Because I mean, we could be the talked about place everywhere. Mm-hmm. Could be Calgary.
Final question. People have never been to any of your restaurants. Where do they go first? What do they eat first?
Well, I mean, we're two people. We're probably going to have different. Before you go to the restaurant, just order a pizza. Have a little bit of an appetizer. Have 6 or 7 pizzas. And yeah, for me, I would probably say go to Charcut downtown. It's the OG. See where it all started, where it all happened. If you're bringing people in from out of town, I'd say go to Char Bar. It has an incredible history. It's in a historic building right on the river. Connie?
I would say if you're craving something dirty and delicious on a Friday, Saturday night, go check out Alley Burger for the OG garlic sausage burger with piri piri mayo on it. And never pass up poutine. We fry our fries in beef tallow. The gravy is made with chicken truffle gravy. We source our cheese curds locally. It's delicious.
Yeah. And then if you want to see Connie and John, go to Charcut University District on Fridays for sure. Mm-hmm. If we're not at Alley Burger, we'll be there, and we'll be usually working in the Butcher Kitchen with Josh.
Yeah.
Shout out. Okay. That's the show. Good timing.
Thank you.
Hard out for
Thanks
Connie.
for having us.
Thanks for coming.
Hey, if you want to just interview me and just have Connie off, because she doesn't really bring much value anyways.
You can't work alone.
Yeah.
He'd fall apart.
Yeah. I would fall apart.